I don't care. I want to be a star. If you force me to go to school again, I'll jump from here." Amidst the cicadas' cries, I heard my daughter's sharp screams. Everything was blurry before me. I wiped my eyes and finally saw my daughter's face, filled with arrogance and disdain. I was taken aback. After being hit to death, I returned to the year my daughter graduated from middle school. In my previous life, my daughter had pulled a similar stunt. After the high school entrance exam, she stubbornly refused to continue with her studies and insisted on becoming a star. My daughter was ignorant of the world, but I knew very well that she was not suited for that. Born prematurely and weak, she had been pampered by me since childhood. Both in terms of physical fitness and temperament, she was not cut out to be a star. However, she threatened me with jumping off a building if I disagreed. Unable to persuade her, I could only take her to Grande City to pave the way for her stardom. Without any background or resources, I shamelessly begged directors at countless banquets just to give my daughter an audition opportunity. The night I received the first script, I drank until I had a stomach hemorrhage. But my daughter was too excited about joining the film crew. She didn't even spare a glance at me in the hospital. She knew nothing about performing, so I stayed up late studying scripts with her and practicing with her over and over again. During a scene where she had to slap me, my face swelled from the blows, but I didn't complain. I even rejoiced at her progress. Later on, as my daughter grew more popular, she attracted haters. I did everything I could to protect her. My right hand was injured, rendering me unable to hold a scalpel. I was the one who did everything to get her on the stage for awards. But when she was covered in glory, she abandoned me and turned to my cheating husband, Mike Parker, and her malicious stepmother, Cindy Collins. She said I was the person she hated the most. It was I who stopped her from playing the roles she liked and forced her to accept projects according to my own wishes. I even deprived her of food, causing her to develop stomach problems. Unlike me, Cindy supported her in taking popular roles and endorsements, and even handcrafted her favorite fried chicken. The meals I arranged for her were carefully planned by a nutritionist. Her stomach problems were completely caused by overeating and the junk food Cindy gave her. When I was hit by her fan's car and taken to the hospital, my daughter was attending a celebration banquet with Mike and Cindy. The doctor called her, informing her of my critical condition, and asked her to come see me for one last time. She casually replied, "Do whatever you want with her body. Don't call me again. It's disgusting." Seeing me unresponsive on the balcony, my daughter stepped onto the railing. "Wait," I spoke up. "You can go be a star." Perhaps due to our previous fierce arguments, my voice was hoarse. My daughter didn't believe me. "How do I know if you're not lying to me? Swear to me. If you ever force me to do anything again, you'll be hit by a car and die a gruesome death." She raised her chin slightly, speaking those cruel words to me as if it were only fitting. Even though I had been disappointed many times before, a chill still crept into my heart. In my past life, I might have been hit and killed due to this oath. In this life, I won't repeat the same mistakes ever again. I repeated my daughter's words very seriously. "I swear, if I ever force you to do anything again, I'll get hit by a car as soon as I step outside." Only then did my daughter satisfactorily put her legs down and turn to go inside. As we passed by each other, my daughter looked me up and down with disdain and said, "Mom, you'd be better off fixing yourself rather than trying to control me. You look like a walking disaster. I feel embarrassed just being around you. No wonder Dad wants a divorce. I haven't seen him in ages and it's all your fault." My daughter has held Mike in high esteem since she was little, often boasting to her classmates about having a father who is an executive in a company. Yet, as her mother, I can only live with her quietly in this unassuming town with a frugal life. But she forgot that I used to be the chief surgeon at a top-tier hospital with a promising future. I quit my job and moved to the small town only to provide her with a peaceful environment to nurture her health. Contrast this with her idolized father, who had an affair years ago and now has a child out of wedlock, showing no concern for us. 3 months ago, while I was tirelessly helping my daughter prepare for her exams, Mike took the opportunity to ask for a divorce, using our daughter's custody as leverage to force me out. My daughter is everything to me. I performed a risky surgery while pregnant for 8 months, which led to her premature birth due to overwork. I have always felt guilty towards my daughter. If she had been born full term, she would have been a healthy child. So I had to choose to leave everything behind and start anew with my daughter. But I couldn't tolerate Mike's infidelity, so I decided to sue him. Yet my daughter accused me of selfishness, claiming that I wanted to ruin her father's reputation because I didn't get my share of the money. Considering my daughter's feelings, I did nothing in the end. Ironically, even with my daughter defending Mike, he never fulfilled his responsibilities as a father. In my past life, I made my daughter a popular actress before he had the audacity to recognize her. But in my daughter's eyes, I was the one who deprived her of paternal love and deserved the harshest punishment. As she grabbed her bag to leave, I stopped her. "Sarah, if you miss your dad, go to Grande City to find him." "Really?" Excitedly, my daughter dropped her bag and asked me half-believingly, "Would you be willing to take me there?" I added, "I'll buy you a ticket, but you'll have to go on your own." "Then buy me a ticket for tomorrow. I want to leave early." Overjoyed, my daughter turned and ran into her room to pack. Sitting at the desk reading medical books, my daughter entered the room. Without a word to me, she opened my cabinet and took out a finely polished piece of white jade. "Sarah Parker, put it back," I said sternly. Clutching the white jade, my daughter shook her head unwillingly. "Mom, I'm visiting Dad. I need to bring a decent gift. He always brings me gifts when he visits." Raising an eyebrow, I retorted, "Are you talking about the $1.39 hairpin or the children's clothes you bought from the street market?" Defiantly, my daughter replied, "Why are you so fixated on money? I don't need expensive gifts from Dad. His thoughtfulness is enough." There is no hope for her. I didn't bother arguing further. I took the white jade from her, locked it in the cabinet, and walked away. Glaring at me, my daughter accused, "You deliberately prevent me from being nice to Dad so I can rely on you. I'm telling you, I'd rather shine my dad's shoes than live with you." Surprised, I responded, "I've never had such thoughts. If you rely on your dad so much, you can live with him in the future." "Are you serious?" My daughter's eyes lit up with delight. Without hesitation, I nodded. Ecstatic, my daughter ran back to her room, eagerly sharing the good news with her friends over the phone. "The old woman said I can stay in Shanghai with my dad from now on." I locked the door. She couldn't take anything from me, so she used the money she had saved up over the years to buy her dad a set of handcrafted Tang suits. The next morning, before dawn, my daughter cheerfully left with her things. Awake from the commotion, I found it hard to fall back asleep and decided to get up and read medical books. It had been many years since I left the operating room. If I were to return to the hospital, I wondered if I could still wield a scalpel with precision. Nevertheless, even if I end up as an unknown doctor, it's better than being a pawn under my daughter's feet. After my daughter left, I started packing my bags, getting ready to return to Grande City for work. Buzzing sound. The phone on the table rang. It was Mike calling. As soon as I answered, I heard him furiously shouting, "Celine Nash, are you out of your mind? Sending Sarah to Grande City without discussing it with me first has caused me a lot of trouble." I moved the phone away a bit and calmly replied, "My daughter said she wants to be with you, so I let her go." "No, Sarah isn't adapting well to the environment in Grande City. It's better for her to stay in town. I'll send her to the station right away. You come and pick her up." He's probably worried that Sarah staying in Grande City for too long will disturb Cindy. He is always putting on a show, pretending not to care about his daughter when he actually wants to act like a caring father. I said helplessly, "If my daughter insists on being with you, I have no choice. If you don't want her, I'll have to go to your company and ask your superiors whether someone who abandons their daughter can still be an executive." The threat in my words couldn't have been clearer. "Fine, Celine, you're tough, but don't expect to see your daughter again in the future." He hung up in anger. I wasn't afraid at all when he said that. No matter how much I do for my daughter, she despises me deeply, so I might as well let go directly, as if I never had this daughter. When the results of the high school entrance examination came out, my daughter ranked 8th in the county. Her homeroom teacher called me to share the good news and asked me which high school I wanted to send her to. I said straightforwardly, "Teacher, she'll be with her dad in the future, not my responsibility. If you need anything, contact her dad." A week later, I walked out of the Grande City Airport terminal and received a message from my daughter. There were probably 7 or 8 photos, all of her and Cindy together. She was linking arms with Cindy, resting her head on Cindy's shoulder, smiling sweetly with crescent-shaped eyes. I remember 2 years ago when I took her out for hot pot and wanted to take a photo with her. She furrowed her brows and knocked my phone away. "Just eat. Why take photos? Do you want to embarrass me even more?" It's true, Cindy is a few years younger than me, taking good care of herself and looking as fresh as a college student. Of course, my daughter would prefer her stepmother, Immediately after, my daughter sent a few voice messages. Hey, don't try any tricks to bring me back. I won't go back to that awful place for high school. Auntie Collins is really kind to me. She and Dad are my family, 100 times better than you. If you hadn't taken away my custody rights, I would have gone home long ago. Oh, and Mom gave birth to a son for me. And you, ugly and old, your belly is disappointing. You couldn't even give Dad a son all these years. I want to cut ties with you. Don't come looking for me when you're old. I'll only be filial to Dad and Auntie Collins. You, old woman, stay far away. After reading these words, I took a deep breath. So my daughter trusts those shameless scoundrels Mike and Cindy so much, while I, the one who gave birth to her and raised her, am the obstacle to their reunion. I turned off the screen, not intending to respond to these meaningless words. A few days later, my daughter messaged me again. She said that Cindy supported her entry into the entertainment industry, had already helped her secure a role in a web drama, and they were about to start filming soon. I hadn't expected my daughter to still pursue a career in the entertainment industry in this lifetime. Perhaps she really did have luck in that area. However, without me, the one who had been tirelessly helping her snatch up opportunities, I wondered if she could still become a highly anticipated leading actress. The name of this web drama seemed very familiar to me. Upon careful recollection, I remembered that this web drama had gained popularity for a while in my previous life. Later, it was revealed that the director had infringed upon the actress playing the female lead role, leading to the drama being taken down. After some hesitation, I decided to remind her about that. I made a brief voice call, getting straight to the point. I suggest you look into the director of this drama carefully before accepting the role. Please, could you recognize your own position? You have no right to control me now. Don't forget your vow. If you keep meddling, watch out for getting hit by a car. My daughter's tone was extremely impatient. My expression turned cold, and I directly pressed the end call button. There's a saying, you can't reason with stubborn ghosts.